embarrassing moments on paternity court.
What you mean, how do you know that? You don't know that.
My point exactly, I don't know that.
You've had 28 years for it to be yours. And what have you done with them?
What have you done with them?
I mean, really, I'm sitting here, I feel like you two need to be going to detention.
We often say looks can be deceiving, but they can also push people to the edge of confusion. Take Mr. Brown, for instance. The guy was standing in paternity court, acting all frantic because the child looked nothing like him, and he couldn't continue to step up as a father without DNA proof.
My hairline is straight. His like an arrow.
All right,
What you mean? That don't...
I mean, obviously, you know that's your baby. It's time to step up, be a man.
Okay, that was amusing to watch, but that is not how the whole thing started. After meeting Miss Parker, Lithonia's man figured that he had finally met the love of his life. But the whole movie romance got ruined when she claimed to get pregnant within just 4 days of them getting together.
Starting your relationship was good. We loved each other very much. Then later on, she just started doing things. I remember one time later on in the relationship, I called her. I couldn't get in contact with her.
Wait, you had a relationship and it was going well, and then she disappeared?
Yeah, just one day I decided to call, and I was like,
Yeah, pregnant and disappearing into thin air. It was like she wanted to step into paternity denial. But in the plaintiff's defense, too much attention from her boyfriend just made her feel suffocated, and she had to take a break from him. Let's just play along.
I feel like that I need to be free, because at the end of the day,
free? I wasn't doing anything.
What you mean? I be stuck with the baby 24/7, honey, because
Oh, but I have to go to work and do stuff, so I'm supposed to be
you don't go to work. What job?
Hold on. Indeed, this just added more to the confusion. So the judge asked the baby mama to explain what she had been really up to. So Miss Parker continued that her many insecurities and trust issues pushed her to leave the house at just a drop of a hat.
So are you saying you got to a point in the relationship where you felt smothered?
Where I felt like I couldn't go nowhere. Where I felt like I just stuck in the house 24/7. He just want to lay up under me, and I cannot go anywhere.
Are you serious?
Yes, Your Honor.
Brown, you thought she was out with another man during this time?
I don't know what she was doing. She never told me.
Going under the radar just like it does no good to anyone. However, instead of baby mama's odd way of dealing with her relationship, focus on the pregnancy part. Trunks out that though Mr. Brown loved the child and his mother, he refused to sign the birth certificate.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
I didn't sign the birth certificate.
Did you have a doubt?
Yes, a 50% doubt.
So you couldn't bring yourself to sign the birth certificate because you knew you had a doubt?
Yes.
See, there came the mess up in the dates part. And we know that when such notes hit, the judge takes out her conception calendar, and it showed that the baby was delivered at only 7 months. Nevertheless, the plaintiff claimed that her baby was premature.
So your testimony is that he was born early.
Yes,
very
Your Honor.
early.
Yes, he was born
Okay,
very
but
early.
that still doesn't matter about the dates because he was born early.
It means to be premature, right?
The dates doesn't matter.
Dates matter. They do matter a lot, Missy. Feeling and believing don't change paternity, do they? By now, it seemed like this mommy's assertion was based on her preferences rather than reality. Unfortunately, her brother also sided with her.
He has trust issues, he has insecurity problems. Obviously, a blind man can see that that's his child. I mean, look at the baby, look at him. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I don't even know why we're here today.
About the insecurity part, Mr. Brown testified that all of his suspensions were instigated by her girlfriend in the first place, and no matter how hard he wanted his relationship to work, he could shake off the habit of disappearing.
Your baby, it's time to step up, be a man. Damn, I mean, do what you have to do for your child. It's time to do something right.
I am doing what I do for my child.
What do you do?
I'm there
you
all
have to
the
buy
time.
something. Buy something.
I do buy
be a man.
It was clear that the couple loved each other a lot and wanted the baby to connect them rather than drifting them apart. And that is what paternity court is all about. You know, picking up skeletons so people could move forward and start. Let's see if the environment has what they've been hoping for.
Mr. Brown, you are not Malachi's father. I'm sorry for you both. I know you wanted a different result.
Hereditary hand deformity popped Miss Smith's bubble in the worst way possible. In any case, there was a chance that a stranger was her father, and this had women in pieces. Not knowing who to blame, the plaintiff started her testimony like this.
Who did you think your father was growing up?
Mr. Thompson.
Always?
Yes, ma'am.
How'd you find out that he may not be and Mr. Jackson could be?
Who was born with 6 fingers, and that's when she actually told me that Mr. Jackson also had the 6 fingers as well.
Finding out this bitter reality was a lot for the young woman, but she wasn't the only victim in this whole saga. Mr. Jackson was also outraged over the whole being left out for 28 years because he had evidence of being Kissimmee woman's father.
With the 6th finger.
With the 6th finger. Can we see your hands?
I don't have no 6 fingers.
Oh, okay.
If it is hereditary, then it leaves no doubt about Mr. Jackson being the father, but only if things were this simple. Apparently, Mr. Thompson had also done his research and claimed that there was also a chance that 6th fingers weren't passed genetically.
That's some
And your
hereditary
research
stuff.
says what,
It's some
sir?
hereditary stuff that it doesn't happen all the time like that.
Okay, so the research does show that it can occur even if there is no other family history.
This is just a mess. So we went back to look at how all of this, instead of in the first palace, turns out that Miss Gallivis had warped both men around her fingers, while they both had no idea about it. And when she got pregnant, she picked that defendant instead of Mr. Jackson.
I thought I knew because when I was with Mr. Jackson, Mr. Jackson, we went together like over a year, and I didn't get pregnant, so I didn't figure, that he would be the father because I had met Mr. Thompson.
Even though the guy at the altar wasn't the pick, he kept coming back for the child as he had a strong hunch that the baby could be his. But every time he came, Mr. Jackson was pushed back by the mama as she didn't want him around.
What happened? Are you pregnant? Yeah, it's not yours. She was very sarcastic about it. And I was like, okay. So I left well enough alone. I kept track of the time and everything, and when she gave birth to the young lady.
But Mr. Jackson didn't stop there. He went to the lengths of contacting Mr. Thompson and telling him that he was also the possibility. Wow, what a guy. Still, he wasn't led around the young woman for this long, and now she stood at the podium, also blaming him for neglect.
That's why I showed up at the hospital. And I'm sitting here today listening to him say that she said that he couldn't be at the hospital, whatnot, and I was there. And you asked me to leave? I'm not nowhere in this picture.
However, Miss Gallivis refused to paint as the villain in the situation in her words. Both men knew about the plaintiff and chose not to step in, which was reason enough for her to not depend on them when it came to bringing her daughter up.
So what you're saying is
around.
despite the fact that I was telling you one story,
Right.
you should have done something else.
Yes, Your Honor, he could have came for it just like I could have did.
How could I?
But he didn't do it.
Both men were upset about being labeled as the deadbeat, and Mommy had a hard time being portrayed as a bad mother, but they were all ignoring the fact that this was not about them. The trial was held to bring closure to the young plaintiff, so let's see if the result serves that purpose.
It has been determined that her biological father is Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Long time coming. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What would be your reaction if you tapped into the conversation of your wife revealing paternity secrets? As you can see in this case, such conversation led to Miss Jacobs being abandoned on her very 14th birthday, and today she demands an explanation for such brutal treatment by her father.
Ms. Jacobs, you claim that your world was shattered just after your 14th birthday when your dad suddenly up and disappeared.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today you say you've brought him to our courtroom to demand answers.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, things got crummy when intoxicated Mommy dropped the bombshell of paternity. Not knowing that the truth was being heard by her husband, alcohol shots hit hard on the eavesdropping better half.
Well, she was drinking, so she was being belligerent and stuff. She's like, well, there's a chance they're not his kids, and I don't know what to do. And I don't know how to tell him, but I had done slipped in and was standing right behind her and overheard all of it.
However, it slipped that the plaintiff was unaware of the wicked present her mother got for her. It turned out that her mother's confession ruined her life, but she blamed her daddy for bad events in her life, so she cried her heart out in the letter like this.
Overhear or know all of this was going on at your 14th birthday party?
No, I actually just seen him walk out of the house. He was really angry, so I didn't understand what was going on at all.
Man, that was heart-shattering. It was apparent that Miss Jacobs was paying for her mother's false actions. Further, it came out that the young girl's daddy issues destructed her into getting pregnant at 16 due to the damage her mother caused, and no one bothered to support her. Poor child.
I didn't understand until I was 16 years old. It was really hard. I actually ended up getting pregnant when I was 16 just to be emancipated.
So you got pregnant on purpose?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's obvious that you were looking for the family you didn't have.
Yes, Your Honor.
Up next, the defendant said that the plaintiff's mother's infidelity had ripped him apart from his daughter as numerous times he caught her cheating on him. He stated that once her co-worker spilled the beans about his wife swindling, so he put his detective hat on and caught her red-handed like this.
And when I got to the house, I knocked on the door, and she was sitting in on the couch. They were all drinking. It was just her and 5 other guys.
You get to this house and your wife is inside with 5 other guys.
Yes, Your Honor.
Drinking.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, I guess mommy had a nerve, as Ms. Jacob revealed that at the hospital, she demanded her father to be there for her, but the woman gave her a shut-up call with, "He was not your father." Her heart exploded again.
When I was 16, I told my mother that I didn't want to be around anymore, that I wanted my dad to come down for my daughter's birth, well, her birth. I had her when I was 17. And when my mom found out, she was like, "I don't know why you would want him to be there. He's not your real father. Anyways, that means he's not her grandfather."
Dude, I feel bad for the young girl as her happiness and peace have been robbed by her mother, but it was not enough yet. Further, it got slipped that the daughter caught her mother sleeping with one of her acquaintances, and when she blurted out, mommy acted innocent.
My dad was at work, my mom was home, and a family member of mine came over to the house. They ended up taking a shower together. I went into the bathroom, I was like, "Mom, what are you doing?" She goes, "I'm just getting a shower, go away."
Further, the plaintiff disclosed that after years when her father contacted her back, she thrashed him in a rage, but he did not give up and explained the whole saga. She felt awful.
So he did show me all the paperwork and everything like that. I felt horrible, I really did, because I told him I wanted nothing to do with him. So I felt like the most horriblest daughter on the face of the earth. I felt like I didn't deserve to be around my dad at that point in time.
Therefore, it was obvious that Miss Jacobs' life was botched up by her mother, yet she mustered up the courage to explore the answers she needed, and both parties were ready to ride on the paternity riddle. So let's get those results and see if they had a happy ending or not.
Mr. Walker, you are Aisha's father. Well, I hope that now that you have the truth.
Babies are having babies. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of love and drama. Picture this. A high school sweetheart gets pregnant, but now the man denies being the father. What's even crazier is that he suspects his friend might be the dad. Hold on tight because this case is about to take a wild turn. We're diving into a battle where children are caught in the crossfire. What could have happened that made him question his friend's involvement? Miss Shands, devastated by her first love's denial, only wants one thing: to reunite her family. Will she succeed? Let's find out.
Miss Shands, you appear in court today because you are devastated that your first love and the person you lost your virginity to is now denying your 15-month-old son, Aiden.
Meet Miss Shands, the queen of mystery. Her ex-boyfriend claims she's a pathological liar and has cheated on him multiple times. No wonder he's questioning if the son is his. But here's the twist. After just one fight, she starts messing around with his friend. Miss Shands doesn't deny it. She finds it amusing because he did the same with her friend. Well, they say what goes around comes around, and this time, it's all fun and games until she finds out she's pregnant. Brace yourself for the next chapter of this tangled web.
Me and his was close friends once before.
They was. But
she used to come back and tell me that Mr. Amir, he was messing with one of my friends.
I don't
and
know.
We both were young at the time.
Hold on tight because we're diving into the depths of a scandalous affair. Miss Shands was secretly involved with both boys. Scandalous, right? But here's the real shocker. She claims the child belongs to Mr. Hollis, not the other guy. But wait, there's more. She told Mr. Hollis and his mother thought the baby could be the other man's, but conveniently forgot to mention it to him. What's the motive behind this confusing game? It's a puzzle no one can crack. Get ready to unravel the truth.
You find out you're pregnant. You tell the other guy first. What was his response?
Well, he was happy. He was happy.
And so you also tell Mr. Hollis?
I told him like...
The judge is scratching their head in confusion. Miss Shands is keeping a secret from the other man, the potential father of her child. She claims he already suspected it and heard rumors on the streets, with people saying the kid looks like Mr. Hollis, but she never came clean. And guess what? Mr. Hollis even wrote a song about their beef. Ah, the ways of the young generation. They express their feelings through music. Can this tangled web of secrets ever be untangled? Let's find out.
At what point do you just say, you know what, I don't think you're the father. I think Mr. Hollis is my child's father. Do you ever have that conversation? Do you ever just come clean?
With the friend?
Yes.
No, I never even talked to him about it.
Amidst the chaos, there's something undeniably beautiful about this case, or not. A bond has formed between him, his mother, and the little boy. The child's face lights up when he sees them, and they adore him, defying biology. Prepare for an emotional journey that explores the power of love and family bonds.
Mr. Hollis, what kind of relationship do you have with Aiden?
It's a real strong relationship. Like, I got attached, like, real fast. I can't even... He love me. Like, every time I come around.
Drum roll, please. The moment of truth has arrived. Is Mr. Hollis the real father or not? The judge unveils the DNA reports, and it's official. Mr. Hollis is not the biological dad. The revelation hits Miss Shands hard, knowing that her child has formed a bond with Mr. Hollis and his mother. Now, it's time for Miss Shands to reflect and make wise decisions as she navigates the path ahead. Will she find a way to keep her family united? Let's hope for the best.
Mr. Hollis, you are not the father. Your family's formed a bond with your son, but unfortunately now we know the truth.